Hello and welcome to Odds on La Liga Matchday 33. We have midweek games because we have the Copa del Rey final on Saturday. Barcelona, Real Madrid, both clubs, Alvaro, won in the very last minutes of their games this weekend.
Yes, I thought that Barcelona was not going to make it because at some point against Celta they were trailing 3-1 behind. They made it. Rafinha scored that winning penalty, and Real Madrid won thanks to a super goal from Fede Valverde, a terrific, sensational shot. And I really believe that La Liga's title race is very open. I really think so, because Barcelona will have to play in 3 different competitions, and Real Madrid only 2. And Barcelona looks tired to me. Barcelona can rotate less than Real Madrid, and for Real Madrid is key to win, I would say, that Clásico coming up in mid-May. But yeah, I think that there is still some title race available. Atlético de Madrid is not there because they lost against Las Palmas. And yeah, it's time for Barcelona and Real Madrid to keep on winning before the Copa del Rey final, which is going to be super exciting.
Well, let's analyze all the games, of course, and now let's go on with the show. We have 2 games. On Tuesday, Valencia Espanyol is the first one. If we were talking 1 month ago about this game, Alvaro, we were saying probably that is key for staying in Primera División, but not anymore. What a month of April for both of them. 38 points, 7 more than the relegation spot. So basically safe for Espanyol, 3 consecutive wins and no defeats in 4, and Valencia drew with Rayo, but is 10 points out of the last 12.
Yes, of course. Both are on 38 points, which is already kind of a guarantee that they will stay in La Liga if they record maybe a couple of more points just to be on the safe side. On Tuesday, this week, is going to be 2 months without a defeat for Valencia. The last defeat of Valencia came on the 22nd of February. Has been an astonishing comeback from Carlos Corberán then. And when it comes to Espanyol, I think that we haven't spoken enough about them. But not only they got a great result against Getafe on Friday, because yes, Getafe played most of the second half with 10 men because 𝗀𝐿𝐵 was sent off. But by that point, Espanyol was already winning. And Espanyol hasn't recorded 3 clean sheets in a row. 3 clean sheets in a row at this stage of the competition is what keeps you in the top flight. That's why, one thing that I go straight to is the goals market. I mean, if you think about it, Valencia, Espanyol, there is a possibility that this is an under 3, just based on Espanyol's great defensive record lately. But for example, if I go to under 3 goal, is 138, under 2.5, 175. Yeah, I could go for under 2.5 goals, but maybe I prefer to back Espanyol with some sort of handicap right now. I think that this game could be a draw or maybe a minimal or a short win for Valencia. There is a possibility of that happening. So I'm going to back Espanyol with an Asian handicap plus 0.25 in the first half. So if they draw in the first half, you get half a win. And if they win the first half, you win your stake. That pays 192. Otherwise, if I go to the full-time market and I put it together with the handicaps, I will go for the Asian handicap plus 0.75 for Espanyol. I just think that both sides are in a good run. I think that Valencia at home are being really decent, but beating Espanyol these days is kind of difficult. Let's don't forget, not long ago they drew with Atlético de Bilbao, they beat Atlético de Madrid, they beat Getafe, so that's why I'm going to back Espanyol with a positive handicap for this game.
And also on Tuesday we have Barcelona, Mallorca. Not sure why Barcelona are playing on Tuesday, having the final on Wednesday, and Real Madrid on Wednesday, having the final on Saturday, sorry. But there you go, Barcelona, Mallorca. Barcelona, as you said, they look tired. They are suffering in every game at the moment. They were 1-3 down at one point against Celta, but they came back with some controversy also about the referees and without Lewandowski, a very important absentee. injured and probably he's gonna miss the next month or so of competition. Mallorca still chasing the European spots, drew with Leganes and beat Real Sociedad away the last two games.
Yeah, I mean, very quickly on Mallorca before anything, they are having a good season. That's unquestionable. They are 7th. At this point, they would qualify for the Conference League. But on the other hand, I think that many changes will happen from now until the end of the season in the fight for the 7th spot. I think that even up to, I would put there maybe Osasuna from the 7th to the 11th. All those sides, they can still fight for the 7th spot. I think Real Sociedad and Celta are the best equipped ones to get that spot. But from that group that I singled out, from the 7th to the 11th in La Liga, Mallorca is the one that scores less goals, only 31 this season. They are the lowest scoring side from the ones fighting for the 7th spot. And away from home, they have lost half their games. So, they are traveling to Barcelona ground. I think that they are going to lose this game, even though, number one, Mallorca has been a good side, competitive. It's not going to be easy to beat Mallorca. I don't think that it has ever been. But Barcelona, after surviving against Celta, I think that they are capable of winning this game. I'm going to back them with the following. I'm going to back Ferran Torres to score a goal, 2.10, because he's going to play instead of Lewandowski. Otherwise, Rafinha to score pays even more, 2.3. So individuals markets here are the ones that I like. And otherwise, I'm going to go for a very safe bet, and I don't want to go any further, because Barcelona to score over 2.5 goals, as they did against Celta, pays 185. But the reason why they scored 4 goals against Celta, it was because they had to score 4 goals. But they didn't come out onto the pitch just thinking that they had to score as many goals as possible. So that appetite wasn't there. That's why I'm not going to go this time for Barcelona to score over 2.5 goals, because they scored that amount of goals if the circumstances demand them to score them. So I'm going to go for Asian handicap minus 1.25 for Barcelona, which pays 148. Otherwise, the individual markets are mine markets, because you can get easily over 2 for players that, in my opinion, are likely to score, especially Rafinha, 2.3 for him to score. But yeah, Barcelona has a very tough calendar ahead of them. They are playing Mallorca, Real Madrid and Inter in the next 8 or 9 days. And I said that before, but I think that Barcelona's lineup is great. I think that Barcelona is spoiled with quality midfielders, even though 𝐜𝐨𝐧𝐧𝐶 and Bernal are out for the remainder of the season. And I still believe that 𝐜𝐶𝐨 could definitely give a rest to Frenkie de Jong. And I still believe that, the midfield has been working really well. But up front, there is a gulf in quality between Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, and the rest. Ferran Torres, yes, he's put in the numbers, so I respect his season. I think that right now is a very worthy number 9. But the rest of the players, Pau Victor, Ansu Fati, I don't think that they will ever play in an important game for Hansi Flick, which obliges Hansi Flick not to rotate a lot up front. And then when it comes to the defense, the same thing happens. I mean, 𝗵𝐵інші, 𝗵𝐻𝐻𝐿, Balde, who is not available for this game, and 𝐶𝐭'𝐬 are clearly the 4 best defenders. So this summer, probably Barcelona will have to buy a striker and probably, some sort of a versatile fullback who can play on the right and on the left, like 𝐜𝐭𝐚𝐲, but with more work ethics, hopefully. But yeah, for this game, as I said before, maybe the individual markets, Rafinha to score especially 2.3 is my favorite.
Well, Barcelona still remember 4 points clear from Real Madrid, and in 3 weeks, more or less, we have El Clásico in La Liga. On Wednesday, 4 games, Las Palmas. Athletic is still alive, of course, and the dream of the Europa League is there. Thinking about the Europa League semi-finals, they put a lot of substitutes against Real Madrid, and they lost in
9.
the last minute, 9 exactly, but still 5 points ahead of Villarreal in the fight for the 4th spot. And Las Palmas outside the relegation spots after so many weeks in the bottom 3 with back-to-back wins.
Yeah, back-to-back wins, and I would like to make a special mention to the goalkeeper of Las Palmas, Edu, because against Atlético de Madrid, Julián Álvarez and Sorloth were denied by 𝗲𝗏𝗀, the Croatian goalkeeper, who did 2 terrific saves. Las Palmas is out of relegation. I think they will be fighting to avoid relegation until the end. Javi Muñoz, yes, he did score against Atlético de Madrid, but there is still a long way to go for Las Palmas, a long way to go. Luckily for them, Valladolid is already gone, so there are 2 places for 3 or 4 sides that will be fighting there. But, even though Las Palmas has improved, I don't know if Fabio Silva is going to be available for this game, by the way. He has a small injury that could prevent him from playing at San Mamés. But Athletic, I think that they are going to win this one. It became very obvious at Santiago Bernabéu that Athletic was putting all the efforts in the Europa League. The likes of Sancet and Nico Williams played against Glasgow Rangers, made the difference against Glasgow Rangers, but they were benched or even didn't feature against Real Madrid. And the team defended well, but they didn't have any other plan than trying to get a draw at Santiago Bernabéu, and they couldn't because 𝐿𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐻 just miscleared the ball clearly. He gave it to Fede Valverde, and Valverde did the rest. But yes, this game, I think that Valverde is not going to rotate as heavily. With the win against Las Palmas, Athletic will be closer to qualifying for the Champions League via La Liga. And I think that here Valverde is not going to rotate so much. The good players will play because after this game, Athletic will rest 8 days until the first leg against Manchester United. So there are no reasons to rotate this time. So therefore, at Asian handicap -1 for Athletic Club, 160. I also like Athletic to win the second half. The money is similar, 168, but I prefer to stay with the Asian handicap -1.
Okay, Celta Villarreal is the next one. This is a very good game. Celta also fighting for Europe, only 1 point away from Mallorca, and as we know, they lost to Barcelona, but Borja Iglesias scored a hat-trick, and they were very close to get points. Also lost the last home game against Espanyol. Villarreal, on the other hand, drew with Real Sociedad, another team complaining about the referees in that game, and is 2 wins and 2 draws in the last games, still in spots to qualify for the Champions League, because remember, is already confirmed the 5th spot will go to the Champions League this or next year in La Liga, Álvaro.
Yeah, and I think that Villarreal and Betis will have a fight for that one. I find it very difficult that Betis finish 4th this season. Villarreal, they have a chance. Against Real Sociedad, they should have won that game. I very much disagree with the cancellations of the second and the third goals of Villarreal. Sorry, I'm going to say that well. Villarreal got 3 goals cancelled. The second cancellation and the third cancellation, in my opinion, were bogus. Shouldn't have happened. I don't know why the referee and the VAR just got their hands in there. Villarreal should have won that game against Real Sociedad. But anyway, coming into this game, just praise Celta, because I have to praise them against Barcelona. They played very well. They have a group of veteran players and academy products from Celta that work very well together. I think that Borja Iglesias' hat-trick was the result of a very good team effort, and then Borja Iglesias did the rest. First hat-trick in La Liga for Borja Iglesias, by the way. I believe it's good to see him back. For this game, I expect both teams to score goals, because Villarreal, look, away from home, they've been very good. The last 4 wins of Villarreal have been away, and Celta at home are very dangerous as well. So I'm going to go for both teams to score 161, but I'm more than happy to upgrade it to over 2.5 goals in this game, 175. These sides are high scoring sides. You just have to see La Liga table to see how many goals they do score. Villarreal has scored 55. Celta has scored 47. From the teams fighting for the 7th spot, Celta is clearly the highest scorer. So I think that goals will happen here.
Next game is Alavés Real Sociedad, a Basque derby, very important for both sides. Alavés in the bottom 3, they fell into relegation after many weeks out, despite the point they got against Sevilla, and they are having problems getting points at home. 4 defeats in the last 5 home games. Real Sociedad still fighting for Europe, even if their local campaign has not been good. Álvaro, they still have a probability to qualify for the Europa League or for the conference. And actually, I would think that they are more favorites than Mallorca and Celta to grab the 7th spot.
And if they grab the 7th spot, they will play in the Conference League, I believe that for the first time. Maybe Real Sociedad can put the sort of performances in the Conference League that Fiorentina has been putting so far. I think that there is a possibility. Conference League has a lower level. Maybe right now Real Sociedad can consider themselves big candidates to win it the next time, but they have to qualify in the first place, of course. With 𝗀𝗲𝗏 in good form, it's going to be easier. 𝗀𝗲𝗏 has scored 8 goals in the last 6 games in all competitions. Let's don't forget that 𝗀𝗲𝗏 didn't start the season well, but then, with Spain in the March international break, and even last Sunday against Villarreal, he was scoring in good form. Against Real Madrid, he scored as well at Santiago Bernabeu in that cup semi-final. It's good to have him back. It took him 3 years to be back to his best level after he suffered an injury in spring 2022, that injury that prevented him from playing the World Cup in Qatar and blah, blah, blah. 3 years until he got back his best level. I think he's turning 28 years old this week, if he hasn't turned 28 already. So, with him in good form, Real Sociedad will have more chances of qualifying for Europe, and I think that they are, the favorites to go for to get the 7th spot. I checked the odds for this game, it's a Basque derby. To be honest, I could chase odds, plain and simple, because the bookmakers consider Alavés the favorite, them to win 238, Real Sociedad to win this game 350. There is a little bit of a disproportion in there, I would say. I don't think that the odds reflect reality, so I could go for a double chance for Real Sociedad, 160, or even a draw no bet for Real Sociedad, 230. Somewhere in between can be good as well, with an Asian handicap minus 0.25 for the 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗀. Yes, I think that if I plain and simple chase odds, which is normally not my style, but the odds are inviting, I should be back in Real Sociedad. A double chance for them would be good.
And also on Wednesday, Getafe, Real Madrid. Real Madrid trying to chase Barcelona after the KO in the Champions League. They got the win against Athletic in the very last minute. Remember, still without 𝗵𝗵𝗏. Probably also 𝗵𝗵𝗏 is going to miss this game. And it's not easy to go to Getafe. We saw Barcelona or Atlético Madrid suffering here, although Álvaro, Getafe lost the last 2 games playing with 10 men, both of the games, and they have no goals until the end of the season.
Yeah, that's true. Look, this game is a bit of a tricky one. Real Madrid is going through a difficult period. The other day they could have lost the league if it wasn't for Fede Valverde's lovely goal, one of the goals of the season, in my opinion. But on the other hand, they are playing against Getafe. The last time Getafe beat Real Madrid here was in 2022, beat them 1-0. That season Real Madrid ended up winning the double, by the way. But, traveling to Getafe for Real Madrid, traveling to Getafe for Barcelona is more difficult than for Real Madrid. Historically, it's been like that. Maybe Real Madrid doesn't lose here, maybe Real Madrid gets the 3 points, despite them not being in a great form. I have to say that I found it very funny yesterday in the press conference after the game against Athletic de Bilbao that Carlo Ancelotti somehow slipped through a comment that maybe he didn't want to make. He said that his favorite formation is a 4-4-2. By the way, 𝗵𝗵𝗏 didn't play against Athletic de Bilbao on Sunday, therefore Real Madrid could play with a 4-4-2. And a journalist, the last one who asked in the press conference, asked him, so if your favorite formation is a 4-4-2, why you haven't used it this season? And Carlo Ancelotti's answer wasn't convincing at all. In a way, he was implying that it's easier for Real Madrid to play without 𝗵𝗵𝗏 or without Vinicius. And I kind of agree with him. But anyway, if 𝗵𝗵𝗏 is available and Vinicius is available, both are going to be on the pitch. But Real Madrid against Athletic de Bilbao in the second half looked like a very balanced team because they didn't have, so many players not working without the ball. Anyway, coming into this game, I don't think that Mbappe is not going to be available. I would like to see if he's available for the cup final. I guess yes, because his problem is not muscular. It's related to the ankle, so it's a ligament issue. But for this game, I'm going to go for something super speculative, but I believe that it will happen. I think Real Madrid and Getafe may start slowly, and then in the second half, the game may change. So the half with most goals in this game, for me, is going to be the second half. That pays 2.0. But if we want to go for something more tangible, Asian handicap plus 0.25 for Getafe in the first half, 190, has a very good value too.
I cannot understand why Rodrigo has to play always with the really bad season he's doing. But yeah. Ancelotti knows better, perhaps. Thursday, 4 games. Leganes, Girona. Leganes looking a Segunda División team right now, penultimate in the standings, 3 points away from Las Palmas, drew with Mallorca, and lost only 1-0 to Barcelona. So they are alive, Alvaro, but they are not getting the wins. And be careful, because if Girona lose here, they are in really, really big trouble.
Well, completely, because Leganes will be only 2 points away from them. Because Girona's run of form has been really bad. I mean, all my predictions about Girona this season have proven to be wrong. I have to admit it. I thought that Girona in the Champions League, because they had an easy calendar somehow, they were going to win the winnables and maybe finish among the first 24. Didn't happen. I thought that Girona, after being disqualified from the Champions League, not disqualified, eliminated from the Champions League, they were going to get their act together and get all the points they needed in La Liga to stay safe by April. It hasn't happened. Girona is only 3 points away from relegation spots. 3 points away. And the dynamic is bad. And when the dynamics are bad, it's very difficult to revert them. And I am totally aware of Leganes' form as well. Leganes has won 6 games this season, okay? Only Valladolid has won less. But 5 wins of those 6 for Leganes have happened at home against Getafe, Atlético, Sevilla, Celta, and Las Palmas. Excluding Las Palmas from that equation, the rest of the wins weren't easy. And Leganes against Barcelona 10 days ago, they put a terrific fight in their own ground, Butarque, against Barcelona, to the point that the only reason why Barcelona won that game, it was Leganes conceded an own goal. I see Leganes being pugnacious and difficult at home. And Girona, to me, they look sometimes that they are waving a white flag saying, help, I cannot make it. I cannot make it on my own. I'm going to back Leganes here. I think Leganes can get something out of this game. I'm going to back them with an Asian handicap minus 0.25 because the money is good, 220, and because I believe that they can draw, therefore you will suffer only half a lose, but I believe that they can win as well.
Let's go to the next game, Osasuna, Sevilla. You trusted Caparrós, you trusted Sevilla, but they keep not winning. A poor draw against Alavés is only 1 point in the last 5 games for Sevilla. Osasuna is the opposite, back-to-back wins. Girona and Valladolid, no defeats in the last 4. And now they might have even options to go to Europe.
Yeah, they may have the options. I think that they won't make it, but if Ante Budimir is in such a form, everything is possible. He has scored 18 goals already. 18 goals. He has surpassed basically his best numbers in one season for Osasuna, but this time he has done it in the top flight. So great for the Croatian. We have to say that a few Croatians have done very well. Last week, Ante Budimir, the goalkeeper of Las Palmas, Osasuna playing at home. I'm going to back them with a draw no bet. Sevilla is a curious story as well. With Caparrós, they got a draw. I think that I thought that they were going to win the previous game. But Sevilla is even better right now away than at home. Strangely, I still back Osasuna, all right? But Sevilla hasn't won a game at home in 2025. It's true that with Caparrós they stopped a 4-game losing streak. But, Osasuna at home with the support of their crowd and, having been with the same manager the whole season and many more things, having Budimir in this run of form and all that, I think that Osasuna may get the upper hand here. So draw no bet for Osasuna 176.
Only 2 points away from Celta at the moment, Osasuna. Then Derby Madrid, Atlético de Madrid, Rayo. No goals for Atlético this season. We knew it, but now we know it for sure after losing to Las Palmas. They've been dropping points against poor teams the whole season, and that's why they are not fighting until the end for the title, thinking just about the future. And Rayo also falling in the table. I don't think they will qualify for Europe. Alvaro drew with Valencia after 2 consecutive defeats.
Yeah, we can say something about Rayo Vallecano anyway. They have been very poor at Atlético de Madrid ground with Simeone as a manager of Atlético. They have never, Rayo Vallecano, beaten Atlético de Madrid at Metropolitano or at Vicente Calderón since Simeone took charge. So this is something that we have to take into consideration. I think history matters sometimes, and there are reasons behind these things. The last time Rayo Vallecano beat Atlético de Madrid, by the way, at Atlético de Madrid ground, was in 1999. That very season when Atlético de Madrid went to the second division. Atlético deserved more against Las Palmas, but the goalkeeper of Las Palmas had a very good performance. That doesn't mean that Atlético had a good game, not at all. Atlético right now, they are performing under utter speculation sometimes. I think that it's clear that Antoine Griezmann is or hasn't been there in the final third of the season. That's why Sorloth and Julián Álvarez are having more minutes right now. But yeah, I think that Atlético are going to win because normally it's difficult to see Atlético losing back-to-back defeats in La Liga, especially if the second game is at home. So I'm going to back Atlético to win 162. Not a lot of money there, maybe good for an ACCA. I'm going to keep it for my ACCA. Otherwise, Atlético to win the second half, which is something that they have done repeatedly at home this season, 195.
Let's move to the next one. Is Betis Valladolid is the last game we have in this match day 33. Betis fighting for the Champions League. Is not going to be easy to catch Villarreal, but also remember in the conference semifinals, great season for Pellegrini's men. They are going to face Fiorentina then, but of course, Alvaro, you are playing against Valladolid. This should be the more comfortable game you have in the season.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's difficult to find the value in this game, of course. Very difficult. But I guess that the clean sheet for Betis will be the best one here. I know that Valladolid have scored goals lately, don't get me wrong, because they scored 2 against Osasuna in game week 31, 2 against Atlético in game week 30 as well, which is something that, you know, we have to take into consideration. But Betis are playing for something, that's for sure, and they will take this game very seriously. Let's see what happens with Betis on Monday, by the way, we still don't know. But the clean sheet for Betis, 183, is something that I would consider, definitely. Betis' defense hasn't been bad lately. They got, for example, a clean sheet in the Conference League as of late, a clean sheet against Vitoria Guimaraes, another one against Las Palmas at home, all that in the last month. So, I could consider that, definitely. I don't know the hunger that Valladolid is going to show. Otherwise, there is no real value in this game. Maybe to back Betis with an Asian handicap would be a good one too. But again, you really have to delve into it and actually be very optimistic with Betis hammering Valladolid. Betis doesn't normally hammer, but anyway, Asian handicap minus 1.5 for Betis will be 168. So Betis winning by 2 goals. Yeah, that's another option. I just like more the money that Betis winning 2-0 would give me, which goes over 2. But anyway, let's put it some sort of way, or let's put it this way, sorry. My conservative bet, and at the same time that would have some value, would be Asian handicap minus 1.5 for Betis. But my ambitious one would be win 2-0 for Betis, 205.
All right. Well, Betis must win, of course, against Valladolid. Remember, we don't have La Liga this weekend. Only one game, a postponed game from the Matchday 26 between Villarreal and Espanyol on Sunday. But we have Copa del Rey final on Saturday in La Cartuja in Sevilla. Álvaro, just a comment about this. Barcelona to win is 2.2, draw 4. Real Madrid to win 3.3. So the Blaugranas are really favorite for this second Clásico of the season.
Well, I see where the odds are coming from because Barcelona has beaten Real Madrid in the Super Cup and also in La Liga 4-0 at Santiago Bernabéu. But I think that Real Madrid must have learned a lot from their defeats. I think that there is a way to exploit Barcelona's high defense. Celta showed the way with Borja Iglesias scoring a hat-trick, and probably Real Madrid has learned from that, and Carlo Ancelotti and his son Davide, they have seen different ways to attack Barcelona. On the other hand, Barcelona looks tired, but for this game the motivation will be there. The less Barcelona rotates, the better for them. I have spoken about that. Real Madrid is very dangerous, especially the speed of Vinicius, and if he plays Mbappé, can make the difference too. Real Madrid lost 4-0 to Barcelona in La Liga, but I remember Real Madrid having good chances, with Vinicius having a glorious one against Ter Stegen or Szczesny, I don't remember right now who was the goalkeeper back in October or November at Santiago Bernabéu. But anyway, I think that goals will happen. This is my only comment. Even if I isolate this game and I pretend that Barcelona hasn't played against Mallorca, that Real Madrid hasn't played against Getafe, I think that goals will happen no matter who plays, because both teams are attacking, especially Barcelona is a very attacking side. So over 3 goals in the game, 195.
Thank you, Alvaro. Guys, remember, let me know in the comments who are you backing in this Copa del Rey final this season. Barcelona, Real Madrid. It's been a while without seeing this Copa del Rey final between the two giants, I think since
2014.
Yeah, Gareth Bale scoring the winner.
Yeah.
With Bartra. Alvaro, let's go with your safe bet.
Of course, Asian handicap minus 0.25 for Atlético against Rayo Vallecano, 140.
And the ACCA?
Asian handicap minus 1.25 for Barcelona against Mallorca. Atlético to win. Barcelona Real Madrid Cup final over 2.5 goals. Altogether 376.
Thank you, Alvaro. Thanks everyone for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.